I'm going live. I'm live right now on the Instagram wouldn't. Yeah, I got to remember. I got to do Instagram a little differently. So we're not live on Instagram at the moment. I'm not mad at that, but we are live here on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and a bunch of other platforms right now. And I'm just wrapping up last week's conversation. If you guys aren't tuned into my YouTube channel, get locked in. That's where the show, The Look, will be happening. I'll go live on Fridays and hold a conversation about what I posted on Wednesday. And today is actually the wrap up. And for those of you who don't know what we were talking about on Friday, this is it right here. Take a listen.
Just because a man sleeps with another woman does not mean he doesn't still respect you. That doesn't mean that he doesn't love you. No, she means nothing to him. And if you think I'm going to give up my life for a man that loves me and respects me and take care of me, he didn't claim her. He put that ring on my finger. Okay. So why am I going to leave over someone that doesn't mean anything? He's a man. He's just going to be a man. That's it. My soon-to-be husband, he treats me well. He respects me. I don't have to ask for anything. But at the same time, I also do what I'm supposed to do with a woman. I cook, I clean, I suck, I fuck, I shut the fuck up. So I know how to keep my man.
All right, so we had a really good discussion about it. The full discussion is posted on my YouTube channel. But I wanted to bring this back because we didn't compartmentalize this whole thing to break down exactly where her head is at. If you guys have your apple cider vinegar drink, for those of you who missed this, on my TikTok channel, which is listed right here, on my TikTok channel, well, it's not.
You could go into a relationship with a man that earns less.
TikTok is listed right here. It's under at Dwight Skrapp Reynolds. That's my TikTok for those of you who are on YouTube right now. But ended up.
You go into a relationship with a man that earns less than you.
Yeah, I would.
Why?
I would make him richer.
Wow.
Because
I don't want to do that yet. The conversation that we're having.
You go into a relationship with a man that earns less than you.
Yeah, I would.
Why?
I would make him.
That just now. And I just had that other one up, which is so crazy. The conversation was about this young lady who I don't know. When I play it for you, you'll understand. What up, Rose? When I play this clip for you, this is not the particular clip. This clip, let me go here, see if I can get this.
Just because a man sleeps with another woman does not mean he doesn't still respect you. That doesn't mean that he doesn't love you. No,
So,
she means nothing
guys
to
can
him.
hear
And
this
if you
clip. I
think
just
I'm going
played
to
it
give
for
up
you
my
on
life
TikTok, but we're
for a
live
man
on
that
YouTube
loves
right
me
now,
and respects me and
and
take care of
Facebook
me, he didn't
and
claim
LinkedIn
her.
and a bunch of
He
others.
put that ring on my finger.
But you guys hear
So
this
why am I going to
conversation.
leave over someone that doesn't mean anything? He's a man. He's just going to be a man. That's it. My soon-to-be.
Let's start at the beginning of this because she says it's almost a narcissistic, contradictory conversation. And I had a couple guests in the last time we talked about it, and I just want to break this down for y'all so y'all can understand. So listen to the first
Because a
thing she
man
says.
sleeps with another woman does not mean he doesn't still respect you. That is
So the first thing she says is almost a contradiction, period. She says, just because a man sleeps with another woman doesn't mean he doesn't respect you. How do you all feel about that statement? Just because a man sleeps with another woman, it doesn't mean he doesn't respect you. How do y'all feel about that? Yeah, I just want this is the wrap up. Rose says, "Oh boy, here we go. This is a very controversial clip." Yeah, and we're just gonna walk it down. Yeah, we're gonna walk this clip down today. I'm gonna play it again for my TikTok people who are just joining. Listen to this clip if you're on my TikTok channel right now. Listen to this.
because a man sleeps with another woman does not mean he doesn't still respect you.
Okay, let's stop right there. The statement says, just because a man sleeps with another woman, it doesn't mean he doesn't respect you. Is that true, ladies? Do you feel like a man still respects you if he sleeps with somebody else? And Rose said that is very disrespectful. I tend to agree. If you're on my TikTok, does it mean that, do you feel respected if a man cheats on you? Deborah says that shows no respect. I agree. We're hitting tapping the screen on TikTok. You guys go ahead and run that up. And I want to break this down because it seems like she doesn't understand the meaning of respect or any of that as she's saying this. Let's continue. She says, just because your man sleeps with another woman doesn't mean he doesn't respect you. Listen else.
that he doesn't love you. No, she means nothing to him. And if you think I'm going to give up,
she means nothing to him is the delusion that she has. And you say to yourself, if he means nothing to her, at what point does he say, what's the point of doing something that has no meaning to me, but is going to hurt somebody else? These are the times and the things that we say, you need to pay attention to what the energy that you're putting out there. You need to kind of look at things and say, you know, I don't even understand how she's thinking to say to herself that he sleeps with somebody else, but he respects her and it means nothing to him. And if it means nothing, fellas, we got to take accountability and say, we got to stop doing things that mean nothing to us, but everything to somebody else. Like, seriously, like, let's figure it out, right? You know what I'm saying? Everything you do has intent. And that's why I'm saying when I hear her say that, I'm like, yo, you don't get it. It does mean something to him, and that's why he did it. Now, if he did it more than once, then absolutely he is disrespecting you, and he does not respect the relationship that y'all have. Let's continue. I just want to run through this so y'all can actually kind of grasp what we're dealing with here.
Life for a man that loves me and respects me and take care of me, he didn't claim her.
Let me go back a little bit.
It means nothing to him. And if you think I'm going to give up my life for a man that loves me and respects me and take care of me, he didn't claim her.
Boom. So that's right. If it didn't mean anything, Deborah, he wouldn't have slept with it. But did you hear the next part? She says, if you think I'm going to give up my life and the way so apparently this person she's a kept woman, you know, and that means that somebody is taking care of her, and she's saying she's not willing to give up the comfort of the life that he's given her. She's willing to accept the disrespect. There's so many women out here, and people, I'm not even going to just say women, but people who will deal with a certain level of disrespect because they're being taken care of a certain kind of way, because their lifestyle is a certain kind of way, because they've, you know, women, I want y'all to understand that money can be used money, power, and respect out there in the public space can be used as a tool against you. It's a controlling mechanism to some degree. And that's kind of what she's saying here without knowing that she's saying it. She's saying she doesn't want to give up these things because he's put them in place, and he's put them in place so that he could do what he wants, knowing that she wants these things, and she's going to subjugate herself to this disrespectful behavior, the cheating, and probably a bunch more, knowing that he's going to continue to take care of her, and she's willing to accept being taken care of that way while he's still disrespecting her. It's a controlling mechanism. Many women say they want a powerful man. They want a man who's got a lot of money. But what you don't understand with a lot of money and fame comes access. And when I say access, I mean, if you got money, if you got fame, or if you let's just keep it at money. If you got money and you're a decent looking guy, and again, you don't even have to be decent looking. You know what I'm saying? It's dudes with money who are bagging chicks that, under normal circumstances, if she had high level of self, this is a slippery slope. But there are dudes who are paying for the relationships that they have. In Atlanta, it runs rampant. When I say in Atlanta that dudes are paying for, you know, they tricking off big time, you know what I'm saying? Of course, it ain't tricking them, you got it. But they do it in hopes of gaining or getting a girl that is normally out of their league, and then they typically get in that position to abuse these women. Whether it be verbally, I wouldn't say physically as much, but more just in their actions toward them. You know what I mean? Deborah said, I stayed in the marriage for a long time. I was being disrespected too much. I got tired and walked away. That's what's up. Rose says she is the most, it's the money, it's the lifestyle. She don't want to change. Exactly. That part of is, you know, it's a trap. You know what I'm saying? Like, and unfortunately, you're raised as women, you're raised by parents who say, go find a man who's got this and that and these other attributes, versus just saying, find a person who's going to respect you, look after you, take good care of you, you know what I'm saying, and do right by you. You know what I'm saying? What up, Day Day? That is what the message should be, but it's not. It's find a man who can, you know, who has money, who could take care of you, right? But the cost of being taken care of is, again, is almost, for most people, they put themselves in a position where they can't take care of themselves. You guys, remember hearing all these stories of these housewives who got into these relationships with these men, and they supported the man all the way up until his success. And then after his success, she had nowhere to go or nothing to do. So she had to deal with the circumstances that he presented. And usually in those instances, those people make it hard for you to stay with them or to be with them because they've made you resent them and their behavior. They don't respect the fact that you were there to support them and push them all the way to their success. This is the reason why you see so many. And let me keep it 100. It's twofold, right? Ladies, if you're going to support your guy, if you're going to stand by your man or whatever, and you're going to help him elevate, then you got to do it with a spirit of love and support. You cannot make that person resent you, because I can tell you that's a real huge reason why most men become successful and leave the relationships that they're in, is because they resent the treatment that the person who had power at the time, which is usually the woman who is supporting and pushing, they resent that person, and nothing but bad memories come to mind when it comes to them achieving their goal and they're getting their success. It's not celebratory. It's, you remember all that pain you put me through to get here though? Like, you wasn't really supportive like that. You just kind of da-da-da-da-da. You know what I mean? Like, you could speak on different public relationships that are out there that we've seen, change up. You know what I'm saying? That's dope, Deborah. Deborah said, I walked away with only my car and my personal belongings. I don't think it takes much, you know what I'm saying, when you walk away. You know what I mean? I think, what up, Veronica? I don't think it requires a whole lot. It just requires the fortitude to know that you're moving in the right direction and that this is the position that you're in, and you don't have a pity party about it. Actually, you should be empowered by making a decision so strong and so powerful. It's one of those things that would be at the forefront of driving you to where you need to go. But sometimes we get caught up in these moments and these emotions, and they prohibit us from actually taking a moment like separation or divorce or whatever, and move in a way where you're better off now than you were before, because you removed yourself from the abuse and the control. And it is a control mechanism. I'm going to continue real quick. Let me see.
Doesn't mean that he doesn't love you. No, she means nothing to him. And if you think I'm gonna give up my life for a man that loves me and respects me and take care of me, he didn't claim her. He put that ring on my finger.
So she said he didn't claim her. Like, just that in itself, you know what I mean? She holds him in very, very high regard, even though his actions don't do the same for her. Did you hear it? She said he didn't claim her. He claimed me. He didn't put that ring on my finger. So she is really relishing in the fact that she was chosen by this individual, and that he is, he has done the admirable thing of marrying her or whatnot. But then he's gone on to say that I'm not going to change my single man lifestyle, even though I'm married. That's a challenge, yo. Like, that's, and only people who perceive themselves to be in power can position themselves to get away with something like that. Only people who feel like they have or deserve the access that they have, and that they don't care who they're with, and it is truly disrespectful. But they don't look at it that way. They're saying this is a ends to a mean. No, Veronica, it is a no-no. Yeah, and Deborah, you shouldn't settle. You know what I'm saying? Your relationships are a negotiation. And when there are deal breakers on the table, a few deal breakers that I would say most people should have is the cheating should be a deal breaker. Now, I'm not saying that. I think that you examine the circumstances in that situation. For some people, cheating is an automatic deal breaker, is off. Some people say, let's figure it out. I know it was a lapse in judgment and that you didn't mean to. Mary was one that was on the conversation before, who said that she and her guy, he cheated or whatever, and they went on a 3-year hiatus, but she ended up getting back with him and they stayed married, and she trusted him for 28 years until his passing. I think that's very powerful, and it talks about her resilience and her, more than anything. What up, Natural? It talks about how she has managed to build herself. Now, if you're on my TikTok channel, y'all got to tap the screen and run those likes up. We're looking real shabby over there, and we have no shares. Deborah says you have to know your worth. I had to learn to truly love myself again. Indeed. It requires that, you know what I mean? But the deal breakers are usually, cheating, physical abuse. In new marriages and new relationships, financial woes typically topple those kind of relationships and their deal breakers because, again, almost to this young lady's point, people, there are people who want to be and live a certain kind of lifestyle. And if you introduce that lifestyle in the beginning of your relationship and it's a facade or it's not completely 100 or sustainable, then they start feeling some kind of way and then the arguments ensue about, money issues and that kind of thing. What up, Catch? And then they want to separate and go their own way. So you have to manage that a little bit differently. But at the source of what I'm hearing from this young lady is control. Let's continue.
Okay. So why am I going to leave over someone that doesn't mean anything? He's a man. He's just going to be a man.
Boom. And there it is. What up, sweet? I know I said it right, Deborah. I corrected it for you. She said he's a man. A man is just going to be a man. Ladies, what do you think that means when she says that? What up, Natural? If you're in my live right now on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, any of those places, what does it mean when she says he's a man? A man is just going to be a man. What do you hear when you hear somebody say that? That's what's up. Yeah, it works. Natural. She said, I used it, the first ACV and lemons. Yep. Wow, it works. Thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely. I got mine right here. I'm going to drink mine at about 12:30. I got mine right here. That comment, Sweet said that comment is giving him a pass, and it's not okay. When a woman says a man is just being a man, Deborah said, well, be a man, single, don't get married. And so I'm gonna tell you what my understanding of that term is, right? It's been long said that because a man has the ability to move around, so to speak, that it's in his nature. And then with some animals, that is their nature. Some animals have multiple partners or whatnot. And again, to a lot of our point, there are a lot of men who've had a lot of partners. What up, Enough? Veronica said, I could be wrong, but she's doing her thing too. That she's never said that in this conversation. She did not allude to her stepping outside of the relationship at all. She did not. So I don't want to assume that at all. But when she says it's just a man being a man, it's almost to say that it's in a man's nature to have multiple partners. Now, I got a clip that's coming up. It won't be today or this week. I got another cool clip I want to, on Wednesday I'm going to post. That's going to be cool. I actually posted it this morning on YouTube, but I didn't do my follow-up conversation. That'll happen on Wednesday. But it speaks to a man who's basically telling a panel of women something similar to a man is just a man being a man. And he's justifying it by saying that he could essentially get every woman in that room pregnant in one night and they be out of commission for 9 months, dealing with, a woman could get pregnant once every 9 months and a man can get several women pregnant. I mean, that's going to be a crazy conversation when we have that because he is speaking truth. They don't want to hear it. And the conversation in itself is very powerful in the dynamic of how we are built as human beings, men and women, how we're different and our purpose, when it comes to the reproductive system and how it works and whatnot, and why you have more men having babies by multiple women than one woman having babies by multiple men. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. But let's continue on. She said it's just a man being a man. Let's listen to some more.
It. My soon-to-be husband, he treats me well, he respects me, I don't have to ask for anything, but at the same time, I also do what I'm supposed to do with a woman.
So she says her soon-to-be man, or husband, I guess, he treats her well and does all the things that he's supposed to do. And I'm going to play the rest of it. She's going to justify why he does that.
And I cook, I clean, I suck, I fuck, I shut the fuck up. So I know how to keep my man.
So... Ladies, I'm gonna play it again. I want to play it from so you guys can hear it really well on TikTok. Listen to what she says. The reason why she says she's able to maintain her man. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna go straight to the ending of it. Listen to what she says.
Okay.
So why am I gonna leave over someone that doesn't mean anything? He's a man. He's just gonna be a man. That's it. My soon-to-be husband, like, he treats me well. He respects me. I don't have to ask for anything. But at the same time, I also do what I'm supposed to do with a woman. I cook, I clean, I suck, I fuck, I shut the fuck up. So I know how to.
She says she does what she's supposed to do as a woman. Ladies that are in my live right now, what do you think about that statement? What do y'all think about that statement? She says she does what she's supposed to do as a woman. Is there anything, do y'all think, is there things that you believe you as a woman should do? I'm just curious. Are there things for the women that are in the live right now, are there things that you think you should do? Like, are there things that a woman should do? Sweet said her identity will be lost if she thinks like that. What is a woman's responsibility in a relationship? And this is going to be interesting. What is your responsibility? Yeah, it's a delay, Rose. I know. Enough said, I wonder what her home life was like. Yeah, we'll never know the backstory on her personally. We have to take her at face value right now. And we can make some assumptions just based off of what she said, but what is a woman's responsibility in a relationship? I'm interested to hear your opinion. What do you do, or what do you think you should do, or what should be done to keep a man or to keep your relationship where it should be at? I mean, it's probably going to be one of the most interesting questions that you'll ever ask, because it requires you all to look at what your contribution will be in a relationship, and what your expectation is as far as reciprocity, as well as how it's being received. Yes, enough. You can ask the same question, but you can't ask it at the same time. Sweet said every relationship is different, so it's hard to answer. I don't believe it's hard to answer, because I think that there should be something foundational in you, and this and every answer may be different, but that's because it's different individuals. Each one of you have an idea of or at least you should have an idea of your secret sauce of what you would do or how it would be in order to maintain a relationship. Like, what is some of the basic foundations that you bring to a relationship that you say will always maintain it no matter who it is? Sweet said, but at least each person should respect each other. Again, y'all keep talking in this global sense. I don't want everybody's. I want to know women in my live right now. And fellas, you could if there's some fellas in my live, you guys can say what you feel like a woman should bring to the table, to maintain things. So enough, that's a great answer. Enough said good communication, transparency, and respect. Now, I believe everybody would agree that good communication is necessary. At the foundation of any relationship, if y'all can't talk, I don't know how you got together in the first place. Like, literally, you had to speak. You can't hear me enough? I don't know why. Can anybody else hear me? Sweet said that's hard to answer because there are women allowed nonsense because they just want to keep a man. I ain't talking about women, Sweet. I'm talking about you now. I'm talking about you, Sweet. I ain't talking about women. Don't speak for the whole group. Don't be general. I want you to talk about you. What up, June? What is it that you feel? Okay, so she said communication. Let me go back up real quick. Communication, transparency, and respect. She said good communication. I like that. And I think that there should be a descriptive word in front of each one of those, because there's such a general thing that even when it comes to ourselves, if we're not descriptive, if we're not detailed, then it gets lost. Yeah, effective communication. And using the word effective means something that changes something. My house cleaners are here, I'm sorry. Something that changes something. You know what I mean? Like, it's effective. It makes a difference. Those are the best ways to communicate, is in a way where what you're saying can be received by the person who's listening, and there can be some kind of change or adjustment if necessary, or you just enjoy each other's conversation. That's good communication. She said respect. No, transparency. Now, transparency is an interesting, interesting thing to bring to the table. because I think transparency requires time. I don't think anyone's going to be completely transparent from the gate. I think our the way we're designed to guard ourselves, to keep our, to hold our feelings tight, it will not allow us to be transparent the way that you should eventually become. You know what I mean? I don't think transparency is something in the beginning of a relationship that you're going to have. You will have a certain level of transparency, but to have full transparency, it takes years, I believe, to go through some things to understand that this person is truly who they say they are, going to hold you down the way they say they're going to hold you down. Hold on one second for me, y'all. So, Sweet says, I'm not tolerating no standards and boundaries. I left him his Bentley and high network lifestyle. Enough says, I love when a man is transparent in the beginning. Sweet said, just because he seems uncertain, I am not staying with no one because of what he can provide. Truly, and I get that goes back to the conversation about the young lady. No person is completely transparent. And if they are, especially from the gate, I believe they're being really foolish and naive. I have a 3 conversation policy where we don't talk about anything personal or whatnot up on meeting, because I believe that I don't know if I want you to have that information. I don't know if I like you well enough for you to be that involved in my personal life. I think sometimes we give away too much information and people don't even know if they truly like you. They don't even know if they like you enough to accept the circumstances that you're about to present. And that's good, bad, or otherwise. You know what I mean? Said I had a conversation recently. Let me know when you're ready for me to come up. Okay. Okay. I got, if we do that, it's gonna be on YouTube. I definitely want to make sure we have that conversation on YouTube. I'm set to have it whenever you are, but you gotta be camera ready and everything. And I'll send you, if you're interested, I'll send you the link right now, and you could join me live and you can have that conversation. I'll copy the link now, and I will send it to you. Let me see. All right, let me see. I'm pasting you the link to join me live now. Boop. Let's go here. Let me see. Let me create a new scene for that. Plus, 1 on 1. That's what I'm gonna call that scene. I'm creating a scene right now so you guys understand what's going on for one guest to join me right now. I have it set up for 4 scenes, but I'm gonna set it up for just one so that Enough can join me live. Let's do a camera overlay with this. All right, there we go. We don't need this anymore. And I'm going to do another camera overlay. Oh no, I need it to be guest A. Let me know when you it'll notify me when you call in, and then we'll rock. I love YouTube setup, but no one wants to come over there. I wonder why. I don't know either. It is totally a better experience than but people are used to what they're used to. You know what I'm saying? So I think that has a big part to do with it. There we go. That's enough dialing in right now. Let's add her to the call. Hey. Let me see. Assign you to guest 1. I cannot hear you at the moment. Let me see.
I can hear you.
Give me a second. There you go.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is, I guess I'll say my real name. I'll just say it's S. Miller.
Okay.
What do you want me to say?
No, I just want you to introduce yourself. You know what I'm saying? This is
Okay.
she goes by the name of Missy Enough on TikTok if y'all are ever on. Rose says she can hear you. She's in the comment section right now on YouTube or whatnot. So talk to me, Enough. What's going on?
Okay, so you said the transparency thing.
Yeah,
I think in the beginning it should be transparency because then you know whether or not you want to continue with that person. Because I think that if you know a person's intentions in the beginning, then you know whether or not to continue with either speaking to them or getting to know them as far as trying to um, get into like an actual relationship with them. So it's important to know where a person is at in their life, um, so that way you know how to communicate with them. If that makes sense.
I get it, right? So I think that there's a point in period where that information should be divulged. Like you can talk about personal things. I just don't believe that you do that immediately. I'm not when I meet you, it's on the premise of a vibe, right? It's like, yo, hey, I think you're attractive is usually the first thing when you see somebody. And then the second thing um, is upon meeting you, it was a cool experience and whatnot. And I'm not a ask you personal stuff person. I don't want to know anything personally about you upon meeting you. I don't care to know any of that because I don't know if I don't know how well I like you to even know that. Like when it comes to the information that I'm going to have to retain, I don't want to cloud that with upon meeting you. I just want to kick it. Like if we good and we vibing, all right, then let's change the circumstances. Let me take you on a date and see if I can continue doing that because a lot of people bust out with the resume straight off the rip. You know, it's they come with the hey, you know, nice to meet you, and it goes into the application phase. Where you from? Who you with? You know what I'm saying? How much money do you make? And what kind of job do you have? And it starts being these things that are pretty much superficial in the ultimate grand scheme of things. Like if we vibing, you're gonna get to know those things. You know what I'm saying? Like if we clicking, that stuff is gonna come out. But I gotta know I like you first. Like so, and then I also have to give you room to not overwhelm you. Real quick, enough. Do you have headphones at all?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, can you grab those? Because that's why we're getting the feedback. I'm gonna
One
mute you
sec.
until you get it. For those of you who are on TikTok right now, we're live on YouTube. You guys can see Enough live with me right now, having this conversation. You can hear it clear and whatnot. It's the YouTube channel is I See Green One. So I'm gonna type it in, YouTube.com /ICGREEN and the numeric 1. And that is the hold on. Okay, so there you go.
You can
That should
see
work
me?
out a whole lot better.
Okay. No, I wasn't saying like for them to like tell you their resume. I was just like saying it's just good to get to know somebody, you know, and know about them
So
before
so
anything else.
so what is transparency to you? So that's a better. I should have asked you that first.
So transparency to me is just being honest and straightforward about what you really want. Because the thing is, a person can date, but I feel like you shouldn't put a time frame on like how long should you date before marriage. But like I don't want to be a 5 to 10 year girlfriend either. So if I'm trying to date somebody, I'm dating with purpose. That's it. That's all.
So my challenge with and this is probably a whole nother discussion that would be really, really dope, is the dating with purpose thing. I think that dating with purpose is difficult because you know what it is because it is, right? Like the conversation people have about it sometimes challenges me because I don't believe that everybody is forthright. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's a trust issue thing or whatnot, but I do say we don't know the person well enough to know that they're truly about their word until they actually do what they say their word is. And I would rather have somebody who walks the walk more than talks the talk, because most people talk themselves in and out of situations all the time. Don't tell me what you're gonna do. Show me what you're gonna do.
Right, actions. And that's why I feel like, to add to what I was saying earlier on TikTok with the effective communication, transparency, respect. What was the one we just said?
Transparency, respect, and communication. Effective communication was the first one.
No, but you said something that I wanted to add on to that just now, but I just lost it. It was important that you had said it when it comes to but I can't remember what you just said. But yeah, that's how I feel. I think that's should be the main things that a person should look for when they're trying to like date someone. Trying to get to know somebody. So
Sweet said on TikTok, if everyone is upfront what they want, we will be clear and make decisions on what we both want. But I believe that you can have an idea of what you want. I think the problem is everyone has a different way of getting there. And I think that if your vibe ain't right, it don't matter what our end goal is. We can't manage to get there together because everybody has their own way of thinking how it should go. And most people go into relationships, especially people who say, they're dating with intent and these things, they believe they have a pathway to get there. And I can tell you there is no pathway. There is no pathway to success other than the one where you work together and you're not bound by the way that you feel it should go. And that's such a hard part for people to compromise when they come into a relationship. A lot of people have their, especially if you've been through something, you have a way that you think things should go. And that prompts me to always, I've always asked this question in relationships when someone is trying something that seems very nuanced to them and not the way that everybody goes. I always ask, so when has that worked? Like, don't try nothing new on me for the sake of the outcome that you think could happen, because if you've never done this before, then you want me to trust this new idea that doesn't seem logical. It seems nuanced. You know what I mean?
You have to have an open mindset, and then you have to change your perspective, right? Because we all think differently.
True.
And I think that's the whole beauty of two people getting to know each other, right? Is to seeing what their mindset is, and then him seeing what my mindset is like, because it's not going to be the same. Yes, we may have some things compatible with each other, but doesn't mean that we're going to always relate to each other. Doesn't mean that we can't go to that next step and say, okay, let's try to do this and see where it can go, if that makes sense.
I get it. But this is why I've never said to anyone when wanting to get involved with them, I've said it once. I said what my intent was, and then I believe that. I believe that. Yes, you kind of work towards that. Once it's out there, I get it. But when I said it, the person didn't believe me anyway. So then my actions were what really made the difference. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not comfortable with saying things. I'm more comfortable with just doing them and then saying, well, what do my actions say? Versus I may not be saying I love you, but I'm acting and everything that I'm doing is showing you I love you. So why are you questioning if I love you or not? You know what I'm saying? And I know people are like, I just need to hear the words. I'd be like, but the people say words all the time. How about these actions though? Veronica,
exactly, actions is definitely louder than words.
Veronica on TikTok says, Skrapp, when I met him, I was looking chilled. When we went out, he said I was too fly. That's a security issue. You know what I'm saying? A guy's insecurity, you know what I mean? And it's really very telling that he was like, I'll take you as you are basic, But if you get, if you turn things up a notch, I feel threatened by that. And I know other guys are. So I used to have to tell my homeboys, if you got a girl that nobody is looking at, you there may be something for you to figure. You have to figure out about yourself and about them. You know what I mean? If you desire and you got good, taste and eyes, then you should remember that you're not the only one who's seen this person, and there are gonna always be people who are attracted to your person. If you remember that, that'll help you toe the line and do the right things by that person. If there should be a little threat out there should be a little nervousness that, I got to manage my relationship and treat this woman how she wants to be treated so that I don't leave room for somebody else to do the things that I'm not doing.
No, I agree. I mean, because I think that any time you're with somebody, it shouldn't be about expectations. It should be about requirements at the end of the day.
What do you mean by what do you mean by requirements? It should be about requirements.
I mean, requirements means that they have to treat you a certain way, and if they don't, then they just don't. Because I feel like in the beginning, a person should know how to give respect, right? A person should know, how to communicate. They should. I mean, you shouldn't have to teach somebody that.
But that
should already come with that. That's a requirement for me. Is for some.
That goes back to that statement though. Common sense ain't all that common.
It's not, but unfortunately, that's not my problem though, right? Because I've dealt with people who was not very good at communication.
Yeah.
Didn't know how to express themselves, and it's just like, come on now.
But these are the parts. These are the parts where you sit. So for me, this is what I'm finding out in those first few instances that we dealing with each other, right? Between the first time I meet you, I'm paying attention to how you interact with me via text, via phone calls, and then the next time I see you, I'm watching your body language. I'm watching how you manage to have casual conversation, because after the resume is over, right? After everything about me that is factual, you know what I mean? Everything that basically everybody would know about me. After that, what we have left is the moments that we create. And if we can't create and live in the moments that happen also on a daily basis, all that shit, all this stuff that I was talking about goes out down the drain. What's the point of it all? What's the point of knowing and having all this information about me having this information about you, when you can't even communicate and talk and kick it? And you know what I'm saying? And we manage to exist in each other's company without the diagram, you know what I mean? Without the blueprint.
Well, unfortunately, it could just be that person. Some people are insecure about certain things. That's not your problem. I mean, it's not. If you're coming into it knowing you're secure in the things that you want, and that's just what it is. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to settle for just anybody, right?
True story.
Right. So that means that you're going to go into it like, okay, this is what I want. This is what I'm looking for. And if you're not ready for that, then
I don't think any guy says that. I think a guy sees a woman, says, I'm attracted to her. And then the next thing we say is, Lord, I hope she has good common sense.
But you know what? Let me tell you this story. Recently, I met a guy, very, very nice. Great conversation, great energy, right? He was divorced for about 2 years now. And he basically said, like, man, like, I would love to get to know you, but right now, I'm trying to love myself more and trying to get myself together. I'm like, okay, cool. That was transparency for me. So in the beginning, he told me, like, I would love to hang out with you and get to know you, but I'm not ready right now. Great. That means I can readjust what I was thinking in my mind, because he came out and said, you know what? I can't right now because I have this that going on.
Right.
He didn't even know me to tell me everything that's going on in his life. But I appreciated him for that, because that just means for me, I don't have to communicate with him or any of that.
Right. Well, you don't have to approach it like that, like it's finna go down. I get it.
Correct.
I understand that kind of transparency. I think a person should tell you if they're emotionally available or not.
Correct. And that's what I was saying. Like, I feel like if a person is not emotionally available, do not talk to a woman. Do not.
No, true story. I mean, that goes both ways. It should go both ways. Yeah. Like, unemotionally people who aren't available emotionally should pump the brakes.
Heal.
Yeah.
It should heal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would tell you, I think I said this the other day. I don't know if I typed it to somebody or whatnot, but I was like, you should be 100% before you join into a relationship, because the expectancy for most people is that I'm not all the way healed, but maybe you can help me heal. And I'd be like, none of us are qualified for that. We're not qualified. We're not Jesus. We're not God. We're not. You can't.
But let me say this though, Skrapp.
Yeah.
But as far as healing can be never ending. Doesn't mean that you're not able to. Just because you're healing doesn't mean that somebody can come into your life. However, it takes the actual right person to come into your life to be there for you, understand where you're at in your life, right? Everybody can't do that. I mean, so
no,
that's my take on it.
No, I agree. Everybody's not in a position to do that, but I'm also saying that you have to seek out the things outside of any kind of intimate relationship that you're trying to be in. You have to find the things that are going to get you to a level where you can interact and you can be emotionally available to deal with someone else. You have to be happiness starts with you, and then it is supported by the people that you put into your life. Most times people say, and I've been in a part of this where someone almost required me to make them happy. I was the missing link. It's a lot of pressure to put on somebody to say, you are my everything, or you are, you know what I'm saying? You have this position in my life that comes with some things that you've never ever had to be or experience for anyone before. All of us are individuals. So if individually I come to you broken, then the only thing I can hope for is that maybe you are, you know what I mean? That you're, the only thing that's going to happen, now I can't say hope for it. The only thing that's going to happen is your 100% now is going to be diminished trying to build me up. You can't be 100% when the person is 50% that you're with. You got to give them something to get up. So now y'all are living, let's say it's 75%. And the problem with that is the person that you gave your happiness to or your strength to or whatever, they can't build you up because they're deficient. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like loaning money to somebody who can't never pay you back. You know what I'm saying? So that's why they say, you know, instead of trying to build somebody up or whatever, you give them what they need and say, holler at me after you get good. You know what I'm saying? I can't be that catalyst for you in that position right now, because I run from it. I literally be like, I be scoping out the scene and be like, okay, this is too much for me to bear. And this is why I say it's important to take time to get to know people. Ain't nobody. No. Sit. Good girl. We not barking. Come on. I run from being very close to damaged people, right? In the capacity of trying to relate to them or be in a relationship. I will, however, be there to be a listening ear and to, you know, to say, hey man, maybe you want to try this or do this or maybe that. But what I realize is the more I get to know certain people, whatever, I be like, yo, I could never be in a relationship with you based off of what you've told me. I'm not judging you, but I know that that's not for me. You know what I'm saying? So let me just let's do some conversing in a way that will hold you accountable for the position that you're in right now, because most people, you don't just happen to be in a position. You make decisions. You so funny. She said Skrapp is the healthiest Taurus I know. His thoughts on relationships help his person. That's fun. She's so funny. No, but it you have to make sure that you're not a crutch for people, because you will always be a crutch for people, and they will never repair themselves. Advice: if you're gonna, your energy is the same way with how it should work with money. If you're going to, don't loan people money, you give people money and say, hey, this is what I can afford to give you right now, but that's it. You don't have to repay me, but you can't ask me for this again, because what I'm giving you, according to you, should help you get to a place where you don't need me this way again. And so relationships have to work the same way. Say, hey, listen, here's the advice I got for you, but unless you're about to pay me for my time, because time is so important, and so many other people who really want the help. And this is how you kind of, divide the people who are BSing and the people who really, really want the help and want the change. You have to put a value on it, and a value that they don't put on it themselves. So yeah, I'll chop it up with you. I have a conversation with you once, quickie, 5 minutes just to see where you at and whatever. And if I can help, I'm gonna say, yeah, I can, look, these are some tools, try these out. And if you try these out, this should change your circumstances and you should be able to see the forest for the trees. You know what I'm saying? But if not, you're gonna come back to me looking for and asking for more and more and more. And I'm gonna have to say, there's a value to the extended help and assistance that you're asking for. And we have to find out how you're going to meet me there, because if you're not financially there, then maybe there's something that you could do from your skill set, because there has to be something for me to benefit from, because I know what you get out of it, but there's nothing in it for me. And there is a certain level of selfishness that has to come with extending yourself out to other people, especially after you said, hey, I'm giving you this. Everything else is going to cost you.
Absolutely.
I think it's important that you set those kind of boundaries. So again, almost to your point, that people's expectations are known, yours and theirs. Like, I know when people ask me for stuff, I know what's in it for you. And it's hard because people don't come and tell you what's in it for you when they're asking you for something. It's like, what's in it for me? You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't say, I'm going to repay you now. I hate those kind of promises. That's why I say, look, man, I'm just going to give it to you. I'm not borrowing nothing. If you happen to pay it back, awesome. But you have no requirement to. But you can't ask me for nothing else either. And I think that's the part that makes it a reality for them, is that they understand that, oh man, this is, I'm gonna lose a resource. I'm gonna lose somebody or something that I value. So I need to manage this a little bit differently.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I agree. But I just think that people, like I said, they should have requirements and not expectations. That's it.
I'm not
feel like
I'm not mad at requirements. I understand. Like, I expect nothing. I always tell people I have no expectations, because hold on 1 second. In 2 minutes. I have no expectations because humans are humans. If I put an expectation on somebody, I'm sure to get let down.
Yeah, and then you end up breaking your own heart because of you having those
expectations
for people.
Yeah.
Like, that's and I had to learn that the hard way. That's why I'm just so like content with where I'm at in my life. Like, I don't have to be single if I don't want to, but it's just that I'm not going to get into something with somebody just because I want a man. No, I'm not.
Right. Yeah. I think the requirements are more for you than they are for anybody else.
Why you say that?
Because I think that for the reason we just said, that we don't want to get let down, so I have to have certain requirements about what I will and won't accept. And I can't put requirements on another adult. I just have to believe that the energy I'm putting out there will attract the person who will meet those requirements without me having to say it. Now, the challenge with that is, because we aren't all groomed the same, we didn't grow up the same, we're not from the same places, we have to see how those requirements manifest themselves in others. And then there's a conversation to have at the point of us saying, okay, you look at life this way, and I do too, but just from a slightly different angle. And I'd love to discuss it with you to see if, if our worlds can collide. You know what I mean? If our worlds can collide and make one beautiful world, awesome. But if they crash and burn, that's cool too. We just not meant to work out that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying. But I think the reason why I think the way that I think is because I grew up in a household where I had both my parents, like, they're still married. So it's like, I like the communication, consistency, and all that. And if a person can't give me that, then what's the point? Like, why am I going to waste my time?
I think that's an awesome point.
With somebody.
I think that's an awesome point. I think that's worth sharing with somebody upon meeting them, letting them understand, like, I'm atypical. Like, my life growing up, I had both my parents in my life, and I know that I'm mostly gonna run into individuals in this day and age who didn't have that.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And so you have to explore then and say, well, did you have the equivalent? Like, did you have somebody else who stood in the fold for you with your, a male figure who has helped you understand how to be a man? Or if, you know what I'm saying? These are very important things, especially nowadays, because there are complete absences of a male figure in some of these men's lives. And they manage their actions and their conversations and their understanding of how to treat a person in a way that doesn't work out. You know what I mean?
And that's why it's important to know about a family life. Because I had a guy ask me that the other day. He's like, "Well, how's your family? I know you're close." Yeah, I'm close to my parents because that's who I've always been around.
Right.
And they're always been consistent. So I just feel like in any situation that you get yourself in, whether it's a friendship, relationship, either you be consistent, or you not. I mean, it's one or the other.
Well,
right?
That's. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, you know what I always say: your success is on the other side of your consistency.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And that just rings true with everything in life. Your success is on the other side of your consistency. I don't care what it is that you decide to do. Your breakthrough happens when you continuously move in the direction that you're moving in. Now you tweak things along the way when certain things are revealed to you, of course. You know what I mean? You make small and minor adjustments. But if you're consistent, you'll have the breakthrough that you want to have. But again, it's so much, even when I say that, I cringe because some people don't truly know what they want, and they are moving consistently, and they're going to get what they think they want, only to find out it's not what you truly want.
That's why it's so important to get to know thoroughly. I mean, you have to get to know them through every season before actually deciding if they're going to be able to fit into your life.
True story.
That's important.
True story.
It's so important. That's why a lot of people are probably miserable right now with who they're with, because they didn't take that time to get to know them through every single season, because they want to rush the process.
No, true story.
And you can't rush the process with that.
I love that.
And that's one thing that I had to learn throughout my dating time. But when I was dating, it was just like, no, I can't rush this. Yeah. I'm not gonna, because if I rush this, it's gonna be all bad.
It's a Rapsky, yeah. It's a Rapsky. So listen, I want to end it with this real quick because I got to run out. But Patrick Thompson on Facebook, I've known Patrick more than half my life. He says, "This is how I see it. If someone can make you sad, that same someone can make you happy. But joy comes from the Lord, so no one can remove that."
True. Yeah,
so that's the other part of the puzzle, is that you both have to be rooted in something that will bind you greater than your own selfish ways. And if you can do that, if you can manage to, if you can find that place where you go, where that light is the same light you're walking towards or whatnot, and that is paramount in everything that you do, then that'll be what binds you through the rough times and illuminates you through the exciting and great times. You'll rejoice in that, knowing that we're only here and we're only successful because we see things the same way, and we're speaking to and receiving the conversation from our God. So I'm gonna leave y'all with that for today. Enough. Always a pleasure having you on. I'm gonna have you on more often. You know what I'm saying? I know you have some wise words and people like hearing your conversation and whatnot. This is the wrap up on the conversation. I'm gonna play it one more time for those people who were here. Yep. Say goodbye to Enough, you guys. All right. This is not goodbye. It's to be continued. But this is the conversation that we were having. And this is what we just discussed. Hopefully you guys will go back and watch past episodes or whatnot.
You go into a relationship.
Not that one.
You go into a
Just because a man sleeps with another woman does not mean he doesn't still respect you. That doesn't mean that he doesn't love you. No, she means nothing to him. And if you think I'm gonna give up my life for a man that loves me and respects me and take care of me, he didn't claim her. He put that ring on my finger. Okay. So why am I gonna leave over someone that doesn't mean anything? He's a man. He's just gonna be a man. That's it. My soon-to-be husband, he treats me well. He respects me. I don't have to ask for anything. But at the same time, I also do what I'm supposed to do with a woman. I cook, I clean, I suck, I fuck, I shut the fuck up. So I know how to keep my man.
All right, so that conversation is up and available for y'all to comment on, to share, and to take little clips of it or whatnot. The future, the conversation that we're gonna have coming up is this one right here.
Would you go into a relationship with a man that earns less than you?
Yeah, I would.
Why?
I would make him richer.
Wow.
Because there's difference, you know, between a good wife and being a bad wife. Because if you always stress him, he will never make it. And if you always take his time and you don't care about his future, what he really wants to achieve, then you will never get a rich man.
That is the conversation that is coming up. I think it is paramount what she said about how she said she will make a broke man rich. Ladies, we're gonna run this and have this conversation. I'm gonna post it on Wednesday and give my thoughts on it or whatnot. But be available and ready to have a conversation about it Friday. I will be inviting more people to the stage. This is going to be an amazing conversation, sweet. Until then, I appreciate y'all tuning in. This conversation will be posted today on YouTube. You guys can go check it out. And again, take clips from it, repost it or whatnot, share with your friends, family, anyone who needs to hear it. Appreciate y'all tuning in. As usual, my TikTok family, my Facebook family, my Twitch family, my LinkedIn, Twitter, and all the other places that are tuning in. I appreciate y'all. This is not goodbye. This is to be continued. I'll see y'all later.